All right, all right, all right. Coming to you live October 16th. It's Sunday, October 16th, 2022. Hope everyone's doing great out there. Hope you had a great weekend. And we're going to jump into some coding here. If you want to stick around with us, that'd be really fun. Hope you're doing well. Let me know in chat if you're around. I'm going to test it out. Test 1, 2, 3. Good evening, ETSW. Good to see you in chat right over here. Over here. There you are. Hey, just to show you, extended out the follower goal on Twitch to 5,000. It's now bigger. IT speaker and Raju, welcome. You are on our chat in YouTube. So you can jump over to Twitch if you want, or you can hang out there. Let me get my link. Here we go. Hello, IT speaker. Welcome. Or it's peaker. Are you it's peaker or IT speaker? Welcome and hanging out tonight with us. I appreciate it. All right, let's get into the real stuff. How extreme is this going to get? So extreme, Emmanuel. You have no idea. You have no idea. Let's just get on to it to show you how extreme it's going to be. I'm going to load up the data which I had pulled earlier today. And we're going to just jump right into it. You said my name, I feel so special. Hey, there's like 10 people watching right now, so you and me both feel special by that. I feel more special than you do. Trust me. All right, let's open up our Jupyter notebook like always. That's the good stuff, where the good stuff happens. Heidi Ho, another reasonable guy. So we've been doing a lot of stuff on this stream that I feel like is related to chess not by design as much as just by, like, I'm working on things that I think are interesting. So we might jump around to other things later, but I figure we just continue go with this. Data Basics, welcome to the chat. How's it going? My data friend, another Twitch streamer he is. So here's the thought. Last stream, we looked a little bit into the chess.com playing history of none other than Hans Niemann. But we didn't really have anything to compare it against. So I think what I've done here is I've ran some code which pulls, before I did it manually, went to chess.com and downloaded all the games of his. Since then, I found someone else's code. Let me load up Studio Code to show you what it looks like. So this code... No, this is my code. This parsing code allowed me to automate this using the chess.com API. So I realized there was a chess.com API for the developers. And instead of writing it from scratch, I saw that someone else had already used this code or already written a Python package which could pull down everything from a given username. So then what I did is I went on chess.com and I went to the top leaderboard for all of Blitz. And I went and I got a list of the top 50 players and I pulled all of their games. Mostly grandmasters. I guess some non-titled players are in the top 50, which is surprising. Hey, nice to see you, Lil Davis. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Vish, welcome to the stream. How you doing? So anyways, so I've downloaded all this data. So I ran the script which pulls it all in, and I haven't looked at it at all. And I thought maybe we could look at it tonight. What do you guys think? Maybe we could make a Kaggle data set. So we can make a new data set based on this, or maybe we should explore it first. Chess.com top 50 EDA. EDA of the playing history for the top 50 players. Let's call this top 50 chess.com EDA. Exploration into the games of players in the chess.com top 50. All right, so let's check out what this data looks like. Before we do that, let's, of course, do our imports. Import matplotlib. Import Seaborn. And let's also import the chess API, shall we? Let's go. We're not joking around tonight. I'm going straight into it, everyone. No chance to even catch your breath. So this is the directory with all the data that I downloaded. What I did was I have all the PGN files downloaded. It looks like they're saved by month. So it has the year and month of each player's playing history. It does download the version with the clock time, and it has some interesting metadata that I'm not sure if we had before. So it has like the opening URL. It also has a link to the actual game, and it has the start time and end time and end date. We didn't have all this information before. So using the API gives us a little bit more data than we download this by scratch or by hand. Hey, Mr. Gabriel Blins, welcome to the family. How are you doing today? Also, thanks for the follow, Vishy Vish. I've turned off the sound for when I get a new follower, so I thought it was getting a little bit distracting. Maybe I'll turn it back on, but if I miss you, let me know in the chat so I can say something. What are we going to do today? We're going to look at this data that I downloaded. We can make a data set from it. It's of the top 50 players on the Blitz leaderboard on chess.com, all of their playing history. So, what does the data look like? What it look like? All right, so we have a folder with Parquet files, summary data of each game, name of player per file, and then we have folder with the per player with all the PGN game files with what else? With the by month. All right, so let's look at an example player. Let's pull in read Parquet. Hey, N34R, welcome to the family. Thanks for following. Let me know in chat if you end up following me and you're enjoying what you're seeing. Let me know why. Or let me know in chat. Chess.com. Who should we look at? Let's start at the top. Nihil Larson is Nihal Sarin is currently at the top of the leaderboard on chess.com. So let's start with Nihil. So we can look at this Parquet file. And what does this have? Oh, we should do the PD set option. Max display.max columns is 500, something big. Then let's look at what we have here. It's all the metadata that we would find in those PGN files. So this is the result. Oh yeah, we need to do that code which determines if they won or not. Oh, looks like some of the earliest games played by this person was against Magnus Carlsen. Is that right? Just happens to say Magnus Carlsen won by resignation. Huh. And then we even have all the mainline moves here. Include Blitz game mode in the description. In what description? What Twizzers? Why? I like numbers, Kobe. Super helpful, interesting, and you have a nice soft voice. Thanks, Lil Davis. Okay, so tournament, no. Let's see if the tournament stuff. Okay, so maybe the first thing we look at is only 746 games. Let's see if that matches up with what we see here on the actual website. If we go to completed games. That's not good. So why doesn't it have all the games? Maybe I was getting blocked out. 41,000 games on here. Maybe I didn't download everyone's games. Let's look at read parquet. I was under the impression that I was getting everyone's games, but this could be bogus. What's the shape of this? 746 also. Oh, did they cap me at 746 per player? Why 746? 746 is such a weird number. Anyone? I'm looking at the wrong person? Oh, I'm looking at Naja? All right, let's look here. Thank you for... You're right. I need... Nihil's here. Hey, MGX just subscribed. Thanks so much. All right, spin the wheel for Hey MGX. How's it going, Hey MGX? Why are you subscribing? Gotta spin the wheel. Oh, wait, I want to restart this. I want to add some more fun stuff to this. I need to scream something. All right, let's make some other options for when I get a subscriber. Scream Kevin as loud as I can. Sigh into mic. Let's make this a 10. Any other ideas for what to add here? Can I quickly show how the data was pulled? Yeah, let's go into that next. Scream Lulu Lulu. Okay, let's make this Lulu. I like saying something short. Kevin! Like that, but I'd do it louder. Hey MGX, I'm back in action. I haven't been watching Twitch as much the last couple of weeks because of work, so I haven't caught you in a hot minute. Well, welcome back, MGX. Floss dance. Do the floss. All right, make that a 10. Let's make this a 10-second. Thing is, I need to make these a little bit faster. Drink water. I gotta make that a low one. Yeah, I want to make it exciting enough. I do have dance on here. All right, now we have some more stuff on the wheel. It's a little more interesting. Twerk. I don't know how to twerk. I get technically that's dancing. I guess flossing and dancing. Oh, boring 10-second hamstring stretch. Hey MGX, this is for you. Thanks so much for subscribing. If you subscribe on Twitch, I'll spin the wheel. Fewer push-ups. I kind of like the push-ups though. I like having a little bit. One that's got to be hard. Okay. Thank you for the hamstring stretch. That's... my stream doesn't show the... Oh, it doesn't show the YouTube comments. Am I aware? Yeah, let me switch that over. I'm just realizing that. Thanks for the heads up. Gotta grab this alerts. Bring it over here. And do that. Okay, now you should be able to see them. See everything now? It's kind of hard to read. Now it's a lot smaller, but it is what it is. Okay, back to the data. Shall we? YouTube guys, wait, shoot. This is all getting messed up. I joined Twitch to view your content, but why Twitch and not YouTube? YouTube just feels much more familiar to me. That's why I've started streaming on both, but I guess it's against the rules. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this all out as we go. Okay, so I'm realizing I think that no matter what, all these data shapes are 746. So it's a good thing when we figured this out early. Let's look at the dates. I think I have a clean version of the dates. Yeah, let's sort the index too. So this does go all the way back to 2014. But it's not every game. So let me try to figure out why that is. Let's look at the code that I used to pull this down. So this was publicly available. Someone had put up there, which was supposed to pull down all the PGN files. This function access to the chess.com public API and downloads all the PGNs to a folder. So let's kind of redo what this function does in our own code. Example of pulling down PGN from chess.com API. All right, so what do we have here imported? We have OS, import JSON, and import requests. Pick random look at how many were played. I can also just look at their most recent games. So Nihil, it looks like there was a game played today, right? There are a bunch of games played today, bunch of games played yesterday. So we should see that here, but we don't. We don't. Is it because I've only downloaded certain types of games? Let's delete this one. It's definitely not all the games that were downloaded. They're live chess. Let's see if the event's all the same. There are some 960 games in here. But if we go on his page, like going back, how many of these are on one page? Like 10 of them at least? What is that? More like 50. And if I go to live, I should be able to go way back and see each day's worth. Okay, so there are some gaps, I guess, in data, but something weird is going on for sure. Maybe there's API limitations. That's probably it. That's probably it. And I was relying on this too much to retrieve. So let's see if we can run this API, this request, this GET. PGN archive links. So the username here is username here should be this. And I was getting this. Okay, so verify is false. So we get this 200 response, so it was a appropriate response. And if we look at the content, this has all the archives of data. Okay, so the archives look like this. Huh, this looks like pretty easy to pull, right? The archives are in the format of year and month. Maybe they don't archive everything. Could that be? Hello, tickets, please. Welcome to the family. We are trying to use the Chess.com API to pull the data down and trying to data for different players. And something funky is going on because we're limited in the amount that we can get. Okay, so this is a URL of all the PGN names. Let's look at their API documentation. Archive. Monthly archives. I don't know why this page looks weird. Yeah, this page looks a little weird. But complete monthly archives. Array of live and daily chess games that a player has finished. So it just says array. So this should get all of the games, I think, of that player for this date. Let's go for an example. We know that this player played today and yesterday. So if we just went to the URL of them in this month, that's what this file is. Right? So now it's just only pulling from the archives, which basically is only the response that we get. So these are all the archives. And then what is it doing after that? For URL and JSON loads this, then it's splitting it and getting the PGN file for that URL. It seems like we could have just done that with we could have gotten this indirectly a different way. So if we go into this, we actually see that this API, we see that there is why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? User archives.pgn. Oh, then that's just to write out to make sure that the file name that's written to. Go to October 22nd and try to find the latest games. Okay, so here we go. We will go for URL in here. What it's doing is URL lib retrieve this does have every month going back to then. You all retrieved this. This will be my URL. /pgn. File path will be temp pgn. Hey, welcome to the family, Pleekly. Import URL lib. All right, so it downloaded that locally to this temp pgn. All right, so that worked fine. Now we have the pgn version of this, but how many games are here is a question. And are the games going all the way up until today? Well, they're going up until yesterday. That's the 15th. 15th. Are the lower down ones the more recent? No, this is going back. So at least goes up until yesterday. It should have all the games from up until yesterday. Hey, Pleekly. Welcome to chat. Hey, Rob, can you show a video later on how to parse PGN files? Yeah, so the parsing part, I just used the chess API. So let's actually do that. Let's is it possible to use any databases for this data set? What do you advise? Well, once we have it in a tabular format, I guess it could be put in any sort of database. But I'm probably just going to put flat files of it upload it onto Kaggle, because it kind of is an archive that I'm not sure people would pull up otherwise. Why? The question is, what is causing the shape of this data frame to only be 746? So how many games are in this temp file that I just pulled in? Maybe one thing I should check first is just the files that I downloaded. So we've gotten that far. And now if I go into my data directory, chess.com, and I go into one of these folders and I do a word count, let's see, 75 files. So this is going back until, then. And if I go into a different folder, there's only, okay, so this player, I only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files. But maybe that's because they only played for these months. Probably. They're probably only played in big events. Yeah, they have 570 completed games. So if I pull in this player's parquet file, $746 again. Okay. Oh, I think I know what's wrong. And it might have not been the API. The other file doesn't have the games yesterday. Which other file? I think I know what I did wrong. It could be something just in my download code. Yeah, this was it. This is it. This is good. This is a good problem that I've figured out. So what I'm realizing I did was I downloaded for each player, I downloaded their PGN files. Then I ran this combine PGNs to combine all their PGNs together, and I did that using this function. Now, what I didn't do is update every time I was looping through to the new list of PGNs. Oh, wait, I did here. Let's see if the file sizes are the same for the Parquet files. Let's grep on Parquet. Yeah, look at this. All of these files are identical in size. So I think what I've done is I've actually accidentally combined all the results in the Parquet format incorrectly. I combined them all for the same player. That's why when I was looking at this to start with, I was confused because we saw Magnus Carlsen was in the first game. Okay, so let's delete this API stuff and go back to reading in this Parquet file and see. Yeah, look at this. These are all Magnus Carlsen games. So this Parquet file is not correct. It does not have the archive data that we had hoped it would. So I'll just redo that part. From glob, we'll import glob. This will let us list all of the files in the directory that we want to copy over. And why is this acting weird? Okay. Yeah, so this is the best problem that we could have had, because now I don't have to read, if everything's correct, I don't have to re-download data. So let's do star pgn for this 7 Hanant. No, let's stick with the same first player. Nihal. All right, this will be PGNs. And then I'm going to also import sys path append. This will let me pull in the script that I wrote. I think that's how I did it. And then I can pull in, import the code that I've written that's parses this PGN to data frame. Come on. Scripts, PGN to DF. I need a C in there. There we go. Yeah, thanks for catching that, guys. That keeping me honest. All right, so now we have those here, PGNs. And I should be able to like take this first one and do PGN to data frame. And it will split out everything into a data frame format. All right, this is good. This is what we're hoping to see. And if we look at just the white and black moves, value counts. Well, value counts wasn't a good idea. All right, so this is good. This is good. I think that we've pulled it in correctly. So now what I have to do is I need to take this list, which I had before. And basically, I need to go in here and I need to remove startup Parquet. Now all those files, those Parquet files are gone. And I'm going to recreate them from the beginning. I'm awesome for creating these tutorials. Thank you for watching, Emmanuel. You're awesome for watching. So what I'm going to try to do here is loop through all of Nihal's games and then zip them together. So I was doing this with list comprehension before. Read PGN to data frame. For P in PGNs. And then I can concatenate these together, and this would be the This should be all of the files for this one player put together. Hello, Angel. Welcome to the stream. Currently at work, but always enjoy the streams. Oh, you're watching while you're at work. That's great. Double work. That's considered double work. You're working double time. He works hard for his money. Do you all know that song? He works hard for his money. He works hard for his money. It's kind of old song. When I was in high school, late high school, early college, I did valet parking at some big venues here near where I live. It was a fun job. It was a really fun job. But there was one time where I was working like at a nightclub, and I had to run. Like, people would come out of the nightclub, they give me their ticket. I'd have to run to the garage, find their car, and drive it up. And I would always just like sprint to the garage as fast as I could. She works hard for the money. Yeah, that's what I was saying it wrong. So I did that maybe like 40 times throughout the whole night. And there was a homeless guy like right by the garage that I would go into. And every time he would be singing that song to me. He works hard for his money. I thought that was fun when it happened. So this is actually taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see what's going on with my memory use. Another thing to add is spin wheel. What, to sprint and drive and find someone's car? Sing a song. You don't want to hear it. You already heard enough for tonight. All right, so this is still going. Oof. All right, how many games did... Oh, yeah, we saw... Nihil Games has 41,000. That's a lot of games to pull in archive here together. So this is going to be one of the largest ones that we... Hey, Large Score, welcome to the family. Thanks for following. So maybe doing this all in the background would be a better way for me to do this. Or maybe I could do this asynchronously. Or I could do this for each file and save it as its own Parquet file. But then what do I do with that? Did you take the IQ test? What's your result? I'm sure my IQ test would be fairly low. I don't know. IQ tests are kind of... Don't they seem like an oversimplification of a lot of factors? All right, so this data frame thing is still chugging along. Should I stop this? Yes, I will. All right, let's pick a player, pick a piper with a lot less games. Magnus Carlsen, by the way. Why are there two? M-A uppercase. And then let's open up the lowercase one. They look identical. It's just one is uppercase and one is lower. It looks like I might have created this one manually, like one of the earlier ones. Yeah, so let's remove this lowercase one. And let's try to pull these in. So the length of the PGNs that we had before, and I guess it's not about just the length, is just the number of months. But at least we know Magnus has a lot less. And let's at least see if we can get this to run through and parse all of these 4 months or whatever it is. Yeah, there we go. That happened real quick. So maybe I should do, and that's the 746. That's the one with 746 games. So maybe we could pick a medium-sized player and pull in theirs. Or maybe we can only go back to a certain date. So let's go to the top leaderboard again. Hikaru's up there. How many games has he played? Probably a lot, right? $106 months of games. Explore games. 45,000. I've now joined your stream. Can you explain to me what you are trying to do? Yeah, we're just pulling down all... So I guess I've already done this before, but Abderhim, we have pulled down all the past games of the top 50 players on chess.com. All of their archived history. We pulled it down. We have it here. And I'm trying to do some analysis to compare players against each other. But in order to do that, I need to combine all their files up, and so I can have some metadata to do analysis of. So like, for instance, we look at this player that we pulled down. This is Magnus's. If we look at their ELO, so what we're going to have to do here is create a function to make metadata related to specific player. So let's say this player name is Magnus. Now we need to find out what is Magnus's ELO at the time of the game. So we need to see if which player that Magnus is. So what this will do is, if Magnus is playing as black, we will locate where that occurs, and we will make their ELO equals to black ELO. And then other times it will take white ELOs and pull that in. So now what we have is the player's ELO over time. And let's set this index to be the date. And plot this. Not numeric. Okay, so the ELO is not numeric. As type int, this should work. There we go. Now we should be able to plot it. All right, this style. Interesting. So his ELO started around 2850. Back in 2015, he was 2850, and then kind of has converged up here. There's a lot of big gaps here where I guess he didn't play. And I also am curious about all these games where the rating stayed the same. Let's see what chat is saying. You're looking at the top 50 today, right? Or you can... considering the top 50 per year / month. Oh, this is just the top 50 of today. So I took whoever was rated in top 50 today and pulled all there. BTS World, welcome to the stream. New subscriber, never programmed in my life, but I'm getting into it. Vegas, you're in the right spot then. Welcome. What's the end result I'm aiming for? Just to have fun and to learn about this data and to maybe gain some insights. We started looking at this back when all the fiasco controversy around the cheating scandal in chess occurred. And then chess.com released this report. So we were trying to think through, like, as a data scientist, what are some of the factors that we would use to explore the data and try to determine if someone might have been cheating or not. Now, I don't think we could ever definitively say that someone was cheating or not. But that's kind of what spurred on this interest, right? And after we started doing that, then chess.com released this report where they said they had strong evidence to suggest that they believed Hans Niemann was cheating in these online games, and they list all of them out here. So we've done a few things on stream before. We pulled in all the games of his, and we actually ran the chess engine against all of the moves that he chose to play and did some analysis of that. So that's like here. Might be in one of these, where we're running the analysis against what he did. And coming up with plots like this, where you kind of see, like, when did each player, either black or white, make the wrong move, or when were they way off the top engine move? Because that might be one way that you determine if someone was cheating or not. But then we're just kind of interested in, from a meta-analysis sort of idea, is there a way to see if a player is cheating based on just the fact that they just win a bunch of times in a row? So Hans Niemann admitted to cheating online before, and he said he did so in order just to increase his rating to the point where he's playing people at his level. So on one of our streams, we were going through and we were looking at plots like this, where we could see his rating over time. So right now we're looking at Magnus's here. We had just pulled up, but this is Hans. And we noticed a few interesting things. And this may be that we were just looking for proof when it wasn't there. But this one really stood out to us, this plot. So what we have here is a series of 3-minute games being played over 5 hours or so, in which he just was consistently winning. And this might have been because he started a new account after he was kicked off, or was given a new account, and then was way below his rating at that point. And this was just him catching up, or it could have been kind of something fishy. And what I was interested in seeing is, can we compare this against, he can lose on purpose. Yeah. How deep are we getting in this analysis? Should we get my B? I Davis. Yo, you. If I'm wrong, there's a period where Magnus was sponsored by Lee Chess and didn't play at chess.com. Yeah, I don't think he plays on it much because he has a partnership with Chess24 also. So Chess24 is like Magnus's owned thing, and it's being acquired, or the whole Magnus operation is being acquired by chess.com, or is in the process of being acquired. So that would explain the big gaps in him not playing. This is expected. Chess.com is kind of like the Walmart. Some people will call it the Walmart of chess. Like, big corporation. They are making money. They sell subscriptions. And they're not like Lead Chess, where it's kind of like more open source. Everything's free. So some players just don't choose not to play on chess.com a lot. How would you find out if he's losing a game on purpose or doing a wrong move on purpose between perfect moves by the engine? It's really hard, Rama. And that's kind of why we were kind of looking into it, to try to understand if there was any way we could figure it out. So the way that chess.com explains they looked into it in their report is they looked at the playing history of the player, and then they also looked at like moves that were made in key times of the game. They ignore forced moves. What's the other? And then the other big thing that we don't have access to is they actually, because they're running like cookies or whatever on the browser, they can tell when a player is toggling between windows. So you can imagine if you have a suspect move that a player made, and they also happen to be toggling between windows, and that's what they're claiming with Hans, the big one. I would say the McDonald's of chess, some people said. Yeah, so if you're toggling between windows, you're already suspected those moves. And then the big thing is that he also admitted to it. So their way of dealing with it. Hey, Jesus, welcome. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on here. He has to be lazy to run the engine on his phone. Do I speak another language? No, I just speak English as my main language. Off topic, can you explain conflict drift? And can I do adaptive learning? Or is it mainly with deep learning neural networks? Yeah, I haven't seen any good transfer learning, is what I'd call it maybe, with anything other than deep learning models. But that's a good question. I don't know anything about conflict drift. I know about the general idea of drift. Like if your model is trained on historic data and then it's like there's a systematic change in the way the data is either sourced or the thing that you're predicting, then you'll have a drift where your model won't be able to predict that well in the future. What machine learning models we use to find patterns in games to identify cheating? That's part of the question we're just looking into this for. And this is all for fun too. How far off he was on most of them, but cookies is tough. That one is also almost foolproof, isn't it? Yeah. So the interesting thing here is his chess.com strength score, which they gave him, wasn't necessarily like perfect. See section below entitled Chess.com's Best in Chess Cheat Detection and Selective Cheating. Cheat detection. As part of our cheat detection process, we attune to recognizing different kinds of cheating. Some, often newer players, use an engine like Stockfish to decide every move they make. This form of cheating is obvious, easy to detect. Other players, especially those that play at Hans level, are more sophisticated and engage in selective cheating, using a chess engine to give advice only in key moments and often intentionally making subpar moves to mask their engine move. Top players only need to cheat 3 times a game. Oh, these are quotes. To effectively identify the vast majority of cheating, chess.com computes an aggregate strength score. Strength score is a measurement of the similarity between moves made by the player and the moves suggested by the strongest move engine. So we've done this on stream. We've taken all the moves within a game, ran the engine against it, and and computed the difference. Like, so you take the centupon difference between the top engine move and the move played. In a sense, is measure the accuracy of the play. The longer chess game control, the higher the strength score will be expected to be, since players are more often timed to. Okay. It ranges from 0 to 150, where 150 is the closest to perfect chess with the chess engine at maximum depth and performance. A score of 100 is approximately the highest we have measured for human chess players that have achieved over several game span, and 90 is the highest score we have seen the top player sustain over time in classical chess controls. Pure engine usage alone would typically show scores between 125 and 150 depending on time, device. So when he admitted to cheating on Chess.com in 2020, Hans had IM title with at least one GM norm, and the performance was ultimately led to the action of having his account closed. Having a strength score of 85.5 in 3-0 games. This performance, which as mentioned, Hans confirmed was attained via cheating, was within the range of strength scores obtained by Chess.com's reports of various GMs in their games at the time of closure. So what I don't understand is if this, okay, so this was his strength score when he admitted to cheating. And these are all other strength scores of admitted cheaters. How come in the tournaments that had cash money in them, I guess his strength score on this one was pretty high. But in the 70s here, I guess what they're saying is 70s is still pretty high. High 70s is Grandmaster territory. Hey, Jigga Man, how's it going? What does that mean? He would make okayish move 98 and then 2% stockfish depth 20 moves? I think that's what they're saying. Do you have a data set with all his games and moves? All of his online ones and all of his over-the-board games. Is it only online cheating? So this report fell short of saying that there was any proof of over-the-board cheating. So the sample size also with over-the-board cheating is so much lower that it's obviously harder to say if anything was luck or if that was not legitimate. But yeah, I think the accusation is that there was also cheating over the board. All right, let's take this. Magnus data frame. And see the day he played the most. So the day he played the most was actually very recently, 10/12. Was this day. Now since we have this times, I think we have the times, the start and end time. This is the cool thing, and I've always wanted to look at this more. We can actually see the UTC date and UTC time, so we can create like a date time column and look at throughout the day how his games were going. So let's add this to UTC time and then convert this to a date time. We'll call this UTC date time. We'll set the index to be the UTC date time. And then we'll do player YOLO and plot this. Okay, so this is almost the opposite of what we saw going on with Hans, going on with Magnus on this day. Like a downward trend. Does the music bother you during programming? When I'm streaming, it definitely helps. When I'm not streaming, I tend to I can go either way. Is the music bothering you, Alps? Because I can turn it down. I have it pretty low though. All right, so this is the trend throughout the day. Downward, downward, downward trend. One other thing is we could see, oh, we did this before. No, that's not it. Is we figured out if the player was winning. Yeah. Get player result. So I wrote this little function where I can apply get player result. I think. Oh, and then axis equals 1. How do I, and then I can do args player equals, this. This should be a tuple, maybe. Oh, maybe the arguments just need to be passed like this. "14 arguments were given." Is that because it's taking the length of this? Args are, you can just change it in here. All right. This is the player win-loss. Let's group by this player win-loss. And I got a group after setting this index. There we go. Okay, so now if we add in this legend, the blue dots are draws. The greens are wins. Okay, so there's a big uptick in wins here. And the oranges are losses. The player WL variable is not a rate. That's just the result of the game. Because if you think about it, this data frame, we have a data frame that is specific to one player. Right now we're looking at Magnus's games. So we're like specific to Magnus's games. What did this data frame tell us? And Magnus can be either playing the black pieces or the white pieces for each row. We could have another player that we care about in another data frame which has the exact same game, and we only care about aggregating up their results. But for this data frame, we care about Magnus's results. So we're looking to see what color was he playing, and then who won. So this would be a draw. This would mean that the white pieces won. And if they were playing as the white pieces, this would be a win. If he was playing as the black pieces and it was 0-0-1, then it would be a win. Otherwise, it's a loss. So it's like we could find the rate in this for the player, but it would take a little while. So, so Magnus on chess.com has won 498 of all of his games. So we could take a sum of this with his 746. We could do this divided by... So 66% of the games wins, 17% losses. The weird thing is just how much back and forth this is. It's kind of like he's almost 50-50 winning and losing here in the left part. But he's going down in rating because everyone else he's playing is probably a lot worse than him. What are people saying in chat? Your current rating, David J? More difficult to maintain 3200 ELO than 27. I think you should plot mid-range grandmasters like Kikor. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, so let's look up I mean, I've only pulled the data for the top 50. But you're saying to pull, like, I guess these are based on their FIDE ratings. But let's pull another player. Let's see if I can pull another player's data. So eventually offline, I should probably go through and have this parse through all the stuff like Hikaru's stuff. But yeah, what I can do is I could pull in Hikaru's. Pull in Hikaru's 2021 plus games. Right? So maybe it was too much going all the way back into history for certain players. But what I can do is pull in PGNs when the file name starts with 2022. 2020? I guess anything that starts with 202 would be 2021, 2020 on. Did he play much before that? Let's see what the length of this. 106 versus 34. Yeah, so definitely a lot less PGNs to parse, but probably a lot more games within those PGNs. Someone asked about my parsing code. So I basically pull in this PGN. I use the chess API to read it with all the metadata, and then I convert that into a data frame and aggregate each of them on. Just so we don't sit here like looking at the screen, not sure how long it'll take, let's import TQDM and not do this in list comprehension. So for P in PGNs, and we'll wrap this in TQDM. We'll make this we'll append this reading, and then our data frame will be the concatenation of these data frames with the reset index and copying that. Got it? Oh no. Did I double click it? Did I double tap this? All right, so it's going through 34 files, and it's actually taken a while. So this will take 4 minutes just to run for... And it all depends on how many games he played per month. So if he played a lot in a certain month, it's going to take a lot longer to process. Just to show you how this PGN to data frame code works, and I probably could make this run faster. I'm guessing the time that it's slow is when it uses the chess API to read the PGN. But basically we're taking in all the header information, and in a PGN file, that header looks like this. Again, let's open maybe this recent one. This is all the header information. So it reads that in. It reads all these mainline moves, which is everything here. These are all the moves, and we actually have the clock time too. And then it loops through each of them in the PGN file. So the file will have everything for the month just back to back in here. And it appends these lists, which I then concatenate the headers into a data frame, and I add in these mainline moves. I also try to coerce the date column. So we were using this code when I was parsing some games that were over the board from the This Week in Chess archives. And this seemed to work okay. Because the date was not always a consistent format, we had to coerce the errors. So it's a pretty simple script, this script that runs. Input is a tensor that encodes the board state, and output is a tensor encoding. Oh, you should make a Niemann. I missed the beginning of that joke, BB Astronaut. You should make a Niemann neural net. Input is a tensor that encodes the board state, and output is a tensor encoding all the possible moves and the probability of each being made. The games where he cheats the neural net would perform poorly because he makes uncharacteristic moves. It's hard to train models like that because I don't know if you're just making a joke but it's hard to train models like that because we don't know the ground truth. By the way, we have some new followers. Optron, Trini, Lul, Anna, Yusuf, Zippy, Kig, Kali, welcome to the family. You're all part of the family now. Ever thought of getting this data and showing the data visualized into a Flask website?Maybe eventually. I'm thinking first just aggregate it all and put it on Kaggle. That's my MO. So on a lot of streams, I've been making data sets on Kaggle. By the way, you can go to !Kaggle to get the link to my Kaggle web profile. But I've been making data sets with a bunch of different stuff, and like this Week in Chess archive, I put on Chess on Kaggle, and then we can do analytics and stuff on here that we can share with the world, and they can copy it because our notebooks will all be public. Hey Yusuf, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Your favorite topping is mushrooms / pepperoni. Perfect. Other things you can check out. ! Discord will show the Discord. YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, that'll take you to my YouTube page, which I would love it if you would like to subscribe on there. And yeah, I think that's about it. We also had a competition, just so you guys know. We may probably run another one of these soon, but we had a It's Corn! Big lumps of knobs. Seed image classification competition. This was an open competition for anyone who wanted to join it. A lot of people who watched the stream joined it. We had over 90 participants, and we gave away, the prize was this RTX 3080 Ti, like beautiful GPU that I mailed. By the way, I need to check with Andrew, make sure that it got to him. I haven't checked the tracking recently, but I hope it got to him. All right, with all that talking done, now we should have a data frame, which is all of Hikaru's games. Taking a while to concatenate. Maybe that's what took so long in last time. When it's concatenating. So what happens when these data frames get really big and you try to concatenate them? You can have like memory issues. I know I have like, personally I have memory issues, but I'm talking with the computer. It can have issues with running out of memory or really exploding the memory up. It doesn't look like that's a problem here, but you know. Yusuf says, I'm a junior data science. Really nice to see someone doing data science stuff on Twitch. Awesome. Yeah, there are a few of us. There's Nick Wynn. There's Data Basics, who's on here. David J. Probably a few others that I'm missing. But yeah, it's a small, tight-knit community of data scientists here. Can you give me FBID? What does that mean? Pro 24. What does FBID mean? FDIC? Do you want me to insure you? I'm very confused about why this is taking so long. Oh, shoot. I'm an idiot. I just ran the same old version here at the same time. So I should have deleted that. I did the concatenation here already. All right, now if we look at the shape of this. Hikaru has played 17,000 games. This might be a better way to do it. We could run for each player and make a parquet file for the player year. That way it's a little bit easier to pull it in. Graham says, I think it's nice to see someone doing data science on YouTube. Thank you. I'm glad that you're hanging out and watching. Oh, Facebook. I don't really do much on Facebook. Oh, I also have Twitter. I haven't put my Twitter handle here. If you want to reach out to me, that's probably a better way to do it. Yeah, not a big Facebooker over here. One more question. Can I do adaptive learning with SVM, or is it always deep learning? There are some papers out there that you could read about it, but it's not something commonly done to do any sort of transfer learning other than deep learning, from what I've seen. It might be out there. I think I saw some papers come out where they claimed it worked well, but I haven't seen it. Usually for me, my judge of if it's legit or if it's just a paper someone put out there that may or may not be reproducible, when I start buying into things is when I see it working on a Kaggle competition. I might be biased in that way, but I know then that it's probably a legit approach. Okay, so here we have this. Now we should make a function called we should make a function called format for player, maybe, where we give it the data frame and then it does a few of these things. Like it finds out the win losses. So like this all together. Oh, we can also have it do the UTC datetime part. So we also need the player name. It'll do this. It should do this datetime part. And then I need to figure out how to do this mapping with a variable in my apply statement. Because I want to also do this basically, but apply this with the player name. So pandas apply with arguments. So they have it like this. Get player apply get player result. Axis equals 1. And args will be equal to Hikaru. Do I need a comma after this? Yes, that was it. I needed a comma after that. All right, so now we should be able to do this, where the args has the player name in it. And then this, and then return the data frame. Look good? Format for player. And then we could do player name equals auto. This would be kind of fun. So if white So what this will do is take the top player in that data set and assume that's the player name. If player name is auto, then it will make the player name equal to this, which is the top existing player in that data frame. Then we don't even need to feed that in. Look at that. There we go. If you had to learn statistics and maths for data science, where would you start from? I learned, well, I think having a good foundation in math just in general is good. And then taking a look at some of the online courses, because I learned through grad school. It was really helpful to take that intro to statistics course. It was really helpful for me. I forget what book we used, but I'm sure there are a lot of good resources out there. I'm not sure of a specific course that I would recommend, But I'm sure you can find something good out there. Sorry, my answer isn't very good. Is this NBA 2K? Jimmy Snap says. No, it's not. Transfer learning for tabular doesn't make so much sense. Tabular data isn't reproducible as images are. Images, yeah. A lot of good points. Jeremy Howard talks about it in Fast AI course. That's cool. It all starts with stats. Yep, that's true. What are your grad courses? Yeah, a lot of good chat. A lot of good chat going on. Player win-loss. Value counts. Okay, so he's playing a lot more games. Still a lot of wins. I wonder if because a lot of them are not rated. That's my guess with him. So, like, okay, what's this over? So remember how it looked like Magnus was like 66% win rate. Hikaru is 76% win rate, but also this is for like a lot more games than what we had for Magnus. Let's see if this show's rated or not as one of the... There is no rated. It might be... variant? No. Variant's just going to be like these crazy chess 960 and then these other things like the duck chess that everyone's playing these days. You guys heard of the duck chess? Does everyone know what duck chess is? Maybe it's the event name. Maybe it wouldn't be considered live chess, but I think it... No, maybe these are rated games. You've never heard of duck chess? Oh, okay. So duck chess is this variant that they have on chess.com now where you make your move. Like Eric Rosen's big on it. Where what they do is you make a move and then you have to move the duck somewhere. And when you move the duck somewhere, that completes your turn. You must move it too. You can't leave it where it is. And it blocks your opponent from making any moves on that square. So like when he moved it here to, when he's moving it here to right in front of the king, the queen is stuck in and this bishop is stuck from moving onto that square. And I guess the king too. But those are like the variants that I think would show up in this data set as variants. What I want to see is if they're rated or non-rated games. I guess I could see if the following game, if the rating had changed. But let's just assume these are all rated. Because I know they play a lot of like against their followers. Against their chat. And then they... yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Is it really that the first game is versus Hans Niemann? Black. White. Date. Yeah. Just so happens that one of the first games in 2020 he played against Hans. Random. All right, so let's look at his... let's look at time controls. What type of time controls does he play? Hikaru free most popular, most played time controls. There we go. We'll keep the top at the top. And let's do, let's just do like 10. Because some of these time controls he barely plays, it looks like. There. So mostly 180, which is 2 minutes. Wait, 3 minutes. So this is like the most popular Blitz games to play. One is 3 minutes. Then these are 1 minute games, and this is 3 minute with a 1 second increment. I'm surprised that there's not a lot of 180 plus 2, because it seems like that's a pretty common type of game. So if we did DF, group by no, let's query where time control equals 180. Set in group by result. Set index to be the UTC date time. Player ELO, and then plot this. Style is this. There we go. Still need it. Oh, so we need to figure out what these really low ratings are about. Why would there be jumps down there? But you could see that his play is much more consistent, much more filled in than what we saw with Hikaru. But obviously, because Hikaru doesn't play. As what we saw at Magnus, but Magnus doesn't play on chess.com a lot. Hikaru plays on it a ton. So it looks like he was really killing it. Oh, this is right when COVID hit. Look, can you tell when COVID hit? Right here in March, he just started playing nonstop online. And here I thought it was impossible to overcomplicate chess. That's funny. What else are you guys saying? Maybe pandas, how to open files, simpler EDAs, a little math and stats. Oh, you're suggesting what to do. What kind of example projects are you guys recently recommending to start for doing for data science? Losing all the knowledge I have. Check out my YouTube, exclamation YouTube. I have some example like sentiment analysis project. I have one where I'm doing economic data analysis. Okay. Now Mr. Gabriel is speaking in a language I do not recognize, so I will let you guys sort that stuff out. We are speaking in Portuguese. Okay, now I get it. All right, so what else is going on here? We could look at... So we could look at Hikaru's date. When the date, if we group by date, And then we look at player ELO. Or we can just do it this. Ag. Player ELO. Min max. Oh, I'm just realizing someone asked me what IDE am I using. I'm using Jupyter Lab. If you check out my YouTube channel, and you will see, oh, we're getting spammed. If you check out my YouTube channel, I have reported and removed. But yeah, I have one with NLTK and with using transformers. Let me switch back and forth and see if that makes it go away. No. So yeah, I'm using this IDE. Sorry, that just threw me off there for a second. But I also am using VS Code to write some of this code here in a different window. So usually what I try to do is like develop my code in Jupyter Lab, and then I'll move it out into its own script. Or if I'm running a script, I'll run it here in VS Code. And then but I'm doing the exploratory stuff here. So this is for each date, the min and the max ELO. So if we plot this, yeah, so what this is for each date, how high does the ELO go and how low did it go? Oh, let's look at these examples where the ELO is very low. So let's query these time controls of this. I bet it's some weird variant. Maybe that's why the ELO is so low. Where the time control equals 180 and player ELO is less than 3,000. Let's do less than 2,500 so we can see some of these weird ones that are really low. So here, yeah, this is a 3-check event. So it's a special variant of chess where your goal is just to check your opponent 3 times. So you can see he won by 3 check variants. So maybe we should add to this query where this is 180 and variant is NA. Now we still have values that are in there that are low, but much less. Let's see what these are about. Let's see what these are about. Okay, so these are all under 2,900. Delete this one. This is odds chess. Shouldn't that show up as a variant? So I guess we could filter these out based on the event name. And Ozched's not in, I don't know if this is going to work, in event. That kind of did not work. Kyoto, hi, I'm new to programming and I'm learning C. I don't understand what you're doing here, but it's fun to watch anyways. Yeah, thanks for hanging out and watching. Anyone know WRDA? I don't know that. Try to plot a candle plot for stocks at opening close. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Um, let's see what the best candlestick. Yeah, okay. I knew Plotly had it, so maybe we could just do this. The thing is that I guess I guess what stocks usually have for the day is they group by the date, and then they have like the start. So that would be like the first, I think. And then last would be the last value, and then they have the min and the max value. So the min and max value could happen in the middle of the day, which people care about for stocks. So we're basically like aggregating this as if it was stocks, and we're going to reset our index maybe. Thing is, I want to flatten these column names. So this is our DF aggregation. We're going to call these column names open, high, no, this is low, high, close. So we're pretending like Hikaru is a stock here. And then we do have the date column. We're going to set the, yeah. We should probably want to take this dfag date. I haven't figured out a good way to do this inline. Make this to a date time. All right, now our data frame aggregation shows on that given date the open, the low, the high, and the close. We'll take out this whole Apple stock ticker thing. What's this open? Oh, I don't, oh shoot. Oh shoot, this was opening up a new data frame, which we definitely don't want to do. Oh shoot, I just overwrote our whole Hikaru data frame. I should have been smarter about that. Well, this takes like 3 minutes to load, so let's go ahead and do that. While that's happening, we can talk a little bit about this. You will subscribe to you. Thank you so much, Slow. Welcome. D Leo, is that? D Leo is live? Is that your name? They got min, max, and close. I want to buy a car stock price. How much does it cost? It depends. Buy low. Problems with naming everything data frame. Yeah, true. True. And eventually what I'm going to be doing is, after the stream, is I'll let this sort of thing run for each player, and we won't have to wait around for it. That's what I honestly thought I was doing before, but I had messed up my code. So I thought all this was going to be aggregated for us, and we would have had a data frame. But I probably right here, or maybe down here, after I run this processing, and I'll write all this in a script where I'll loop through each one or run the script somewhere else. But we should probably save this as a Parquet file, and this should be in our data folder. It should be in chess.com, and then it should be the player name .parquet. And we talked about doing this by year, so that's another thing. It could be like player name year, like this. Don't forget to change data frame to data frame ag here. Yes, you're right. This is going to be data frame aggregation. Also, I should delete this line of code, right? Thought I already did that, but yeah, so this will save out. Do we actually put the player name anywhere? We did not because we have it doing the auto player name, but let's just write that here. And then the year is going to be 2020s. It's just an example. We'll actually do it by year next time. So what I like about this channel, real world stuff happens. Yeah. You live and you learn. So I'm a little disappointed in myself that I didn't have all these data frames loaded before. But I think we learned a lot, and I kind of walked through the process of how we can do that now. We looked a little bit at Hikaru. We did see that there are certain days where the high and the low can be drastic. There we go. Here's our candlestick. Good idea with the candlestick. This seems kind of crazy. Oh, I know what's going on here. I know what's going on here. Ha. Ha. We need to query all this stuff out or else it's not going to work. We have all the variants in there. That's why it's looking so weird. So we want all the situations where the event name does not contain odds chess. The way I was doing it in this query was not working. And then we also want time control is 180 and the variant to be NA. This should give us a good data set to aggregate. And why don't we just load? Usually I let this do all the formatting for me. And now if we do the high lows, now it looks a little bit more reasonable. So if we're looking at this correct, the close of one day, 3190, should be the open of the next day. But that's not the case here. Could that be because we need to sort values by UTC date time and then reset the index and copy that? Yes, now things look like they line up a little bit more. So this closes at 3282 and then it opens the next day at 3285, which is the ELO. So this is the ELO right before the last game. So there's a little bit of an offset, but the only difference between days should be that one last game score. What do you think you're going to end up using to detect cheating? I don't know, BB Astronaut. We may not actually get to it ever. I have some cool stuff I want to show you guys. Do you want a sneak peek at the stuff I've been doing with the chess vision stuff, the computer vision stuff? Okay, you guys want to switch gears here for the last like 15 minutes. All right. Glad you're all here. You get to see this. So we've been doing stuff with trying to do computer vision on a chessboard, right? If you look at my channel on YouTube, nope, that's not me. If you do exclamation point YouTube, hey Arda. And I don't know, we do this one. You could see back when we were trying to do computer vision on the chessboard and have it detect the positions. So taking in the positions, try to guess the position based on computer vision. Now, one of the problems is we don't have a big data set to do that. But I've been working on this. I hope this doesn't crash my stream. Using Blender to actually create these data sets. So there's this chess cog algorithm out there that supposedly that someone released as their master's thesis, where they had all these generated boards and then they tried to detect the position based on these images that they generated. However, it didn't really translate well to the type of pieces that I was using. And even when I try to use a wooden chessboard, it doesn't really adapt well to that. I also wanted to see if I could create this for the standard chess set. And I also wanted to create an algorithm that would try to detect this end to end as a neural network instead of trying to detect the board and then detect each square and then detect the piece on each square. Might not end up working, but the main thing I wanted to do was actually use Blender to do this for me. And the cool thing is I actually got this person's code running and I was able to modify some of the, watch this not work. I was able to modify how the images looked and the materials within the image. Why is it freezing up on me? Well, I can at least show you here. Yeah, this is when we were doing it. So we wanted to work on a chessboard type like this. Like the standard tournament boards, because that's the most common used just like on the street that you would see. So these are what the generated chess boards look like that I was creating. There we go. Now it's showing in Blender too. So now we have this 3D chessboard, right? And we can have it set up. It takes a little while to render. That's why it's a little bit odd looking here with the light refracting. But this code can pull in any FEN position and then set up the board in that position. And what I haven't done is had it actually change the camera location and change the lighting. But with doing that, then we would get a really good synthetic data set to train a neural network on. So that's the idea with this. Maybe we could talk about this next stream. But definitely need to figure out the lighting issue. I had to change some of the code to account for the sizes of the pieces being different. And yeah, this in the end would hopefully be pretty cool to get running and at least to validate models on. Now, one thing I noticed too, though, is like the pieces don't necessarily exactly match like these type of pieces, especially the queen. I don't know if there's a queen here. Yeah, this queen Looks really different than the queen in this 3D board, which I think is frozen. Is it frozen? It's just lagging. So like, look at that queen in this. So I paid for this model. Yeah, I try, and I have found other models that work. Now, the other thing that's kind of cool that I started looking into was Clothes Blender, because it's freaking out right now. The other thing I started looking into was, okay, what if, can I actually get my exact same pieces, almost identical, and there's this program called Meshroom, and I don't know why it's not working now. Okay. Oh, I just opened up like 10 versions of Meshroom. Let's quit this, quit this. And what this is supposed to do, so Meshroom, you can give it, let's show an example. So you're supposed to be able to take a bunch of different pictures of an object just from different angles and then have it display in 3D. Now, I wasn't getting it to work very well when I tried this on my own, but in theory, if I was able to do this well, then I could take those pieces and replace the pieces that I'm using in the 3D rendering right now. Overkill, maybe. I just heard a weird sound, but I think it's our dishwasher. I thought you said your live sessions are Tuesdays and Thursdays. Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, prom. Sorry, and not every time, every week. Okay, so what's the other thing with that? Just the last thing to touch on with that was I did train a YOLO model on it. So if I go to YOLO V5, I should probably use YOLO V7, but YOLO V5, I don't know. I'm kind of partial to because it seemed to stream well when I run from a camera. So if I open this up, this is what the training batches look like. So I was having it was having issues detecting the colors. So I thought maybe just to have it try to detect piece type like this, and then the results, and I think it's definitely overfitting, but the results of this, if I open this, this is our validation loss, was just like getting really low the longer I traded it. It looked like it was probably overfitting to the fact that I didn't have the camera angle changing and all the pieces were identical. Is YOLO better than MobileNet SSD? I don't know. I haven't used MobileNet much. In theory, you should have iPhone. You should be able to do mesh really good with its laser camera thingy. Yeah, I need to figure that out. So yeah, so I did that, and then I could show you an example of me trying to run the detection. Let's see if this is a good one. So you can kind of see what's going on here. I mean, it's not horrible. It's definitely picking up on pieces, but there's a lot of overlap. And I think part of this is the fact that when it's using these training samples, there can be overlap between pieces like if a really tall... Here, this queen is in the way of the rook. So then the rook's bounding box actually has a queen in it. In theory, with the more training data, that shouldn't matter because the model should learn which part is the rook and which part isn't the rook. But it's definitely having trouble with the amount that I've trained it here. Let me show you another example. Let me show you an example maybe where I had the different piece colors. Oh yeah. If I didn't set the threshold really high too, it was just picking up pieces everywhere. Yeah, so this is when it was trying to predict the actual color of the piece also. So each class was like a different piece and color. And it was having a hard time with this. And I figured if you can predict the piece, then doing the coloring would be like you take each piece, you identify it, and then you take like the average color within it. And you could cluster it pretty easy. Got to train it on the tops of every piece. Yeah. But what about when the top of the piece is covered by another? I guess there needs to be like a minimum angle that this is viable on. If you're too far horizontal, like I think some of these game data, which I was hoping that like this, I don't know if it would be able to pick this up. The thing is, I'm also convinced that anything that a human can identify on the board should, with enough data, the model should be able to pick up. Like a human could easily, well, with time, see that these pieces are here. Like it's a little hard to see this black pawn back here. But otherwise, you should be able to identify where the pieces are and then place them on a board. In theory, I don't know. I guess that's why it's an interesting problem because we don't know how to solve it. Plant vases being classified as a pawn, yeah. So I don't know why all the analysis I'm doing on stream lately has been chess related. I don't mean it to be that way. Maybe we'll snap out of it here soon, but... so far it's been fun. I think these projects are kind of fun. If you enjoyed watching, if you could do a few things for me, that'd be awesome. Does the model know where the board is? Currently, no. So currently the model just is trying to identify pieces. But I don't think the final model would even need YOLO. It shouldn't need YOLO. It should just... I do love chess, I guess. I'm so bad at it is the thing. So if you guys enjoyed this, do a few things. If you haven't already subscribed to me on YouTube, please do that. Give me a follow on Twitch. So I'm putting these links here. Give me a follow on Twitch if you don't mind. Link is here. Am I currently working on any competition? I don't have the time. I just wish I had the time to work on Kaggle competitions, but I haven't. I need to do that on one of the streams sometime here soon. Is just dig into one of the new competitions. Usually this time of year, really interesting ones come out. Michael says, enjoyed the stream. First one you watch. You need ideas for future project. Temporal fusion transformer seems fascinated. Yeah, let's look at that. Thank you all who followed on Twitch too. I think we had like a bunch recently. It's 2K1, Universe, Raikal, Gonzabir. We're gonna get to 5,000 followers like in 5 years. Never used Twitch here, but might set up to follow you. Yeah, if you put like the bell on that, you'll get alerted every time that I stream. We got Steelever. So everyone who joins Twitch family, who follows me on YouTube and all that stuff, Yeah, so if you do all that, you're considered part of my family. You're part of the family, and I appreciate you spending time with me and hanging out. So what are we going to do here? Do I have some pipeline to use in competitions, or do I do it all from scratch? It depends on the competition, and also it depends on who you team up with. But I did kind of have a way that I would do it, at least for offline competitions, where I'd kind of track all my out of folds and I'd track all of my predictions. And I went through that in one of my streams, but also someone's adapted that code into their own kind of code base that I'll try to find and put out there. But I think they made it public. I think your stream randomly showed up on YouTube homepage tonight because you were doing this chess stuff. Oh, Graham, nice. So I guess I'm reaching people that are that have similar interests as me. Very cool. All right, so the goal is to get interesting enough that we get Hikaru to mention one of these streams. So I need to look into Hikaru's data and find something interesting that we can share. Hey, Mitchell, thank you for subscribing. I got to spin the wheel for you. Look at that. We can end tonight on a spin of the wheel. And then I will also... Oh, I am not showing the wheel. Scream Kevin as loud as I can. Here we go. Kevin! I'm going to wake up my wife and kids upstairs. They're going to come down screaming. Look into his speed runs. Oh, yeah, I need to look into his... But he creates other accounts for those speed runs. Thanks for subscribing, Michael. I appreciate that. I yelled Kevin. We got another subscriber on Twitch. AKRWP, thank you. You guys really don't need to, but hey, if you want to subscribe, and especially if you subscribe using Prime... it's essentially free if you have Amazon Prime. By the way, what's the score of that football game? I was gonna... Another spin we got. Play a 1-minute chess game? Okay. That's a low odds one. I guess I'm streaming a little bit longer. No one wants to see me play a horrible game. Jake Programming, thank you for subscribing 4 months. Let's spin the wheel for you so I can see what that is before I play this chess game. I really don't want to play this chess game. It's going to be horrible. Kevin! All right, I yelled Kevin again. I like that it landed on that one twice. Oh, man, we got spammed again. Someone blocked the spam people. Okay, let's go. Here we go. 1-minute chess game. I usually play 1 minute on my iPad, so I'm not super solid when it comes to playing quickly with a mouse. Oh no. Here we go. Here we go. Pin this. Try to get there and then get this. Here we go. Go here. Take this. No! Where are you running off to? I want to trade queens. Let's go. If I can get this here, that knight there, then I get... Yeah. Attack this. Oh no, that pawn's hanging. That pawn was hanging. Oh, this is bad. Yeah, now I'm about to get checked here, checkmated here. I'm losing this pawn. Let's go. Try to flag him. You didn't need to do that, dude. Oh, yeah. He would have been mated if he got it with the other rook. Yes, get him on time. Let's go there. Come on. Come on. No, that was a bad move by me. I let him off the hook. Two seconds. I won on time. I went on time. Who is Kevin, by the way? I just think it's a funny name to yell. All right, so that's the end of the stream. Let's find someone on Twitch that we're going to raid. Thanks, everyone who subscribed, everyone who hung out tonight. It was a lot of fun. Let's see who else is coding. Coding with Strangers is on. Coding with Strangers I like. He's a cool guy. We've rated him before. He looks like he's coding Python. Perfect. Coding with Strangers, man, you're getting a raid. Please stick around. Keep the positive vibes. Let's send him a lot of energy. If you're in Twitch, if not, thanks for hanging out, and I really appreciate you guys. Have you ever played chess throughout my 30 years? I have never played chess throughout my 30 years of existence. Promising. I don't understand it. You'll get it. You should learn it. It's a beautiful game. All right. Have a good one. Bye, everyone. All right. Bye, YouTube. Bye, YouTube. Have a good night.